back!
Hey guys, it's Gigi and Henry here with the first episode of our good note-taking and series that we'll be doing on YouTube. So today, like I said, we're talking about good note-taking, and I just have a couple of questions that we're going to answer for you guys. Not everyone takes notes in the hangar, and that's totally okay, but we're going to talk about the significance of why it is good for you, and if you don't, that's completely okay as well. First off, Henry, how do you take notes?
Sometimes I take notes during a sermon, or if I'm listening to like a podcast, or if I'm just doing my Bible time, I take notes. I actually have 3 notebooks here for 3 different things. So this is Bible study, this is sermons, and then this is my Bible time. So some people divide it up in different journals, some people don't, but I like to be kind of organized, so like when I'm looking at, where do I put all my prayers, or where do I put all my sermons, I can go back to that specific notebook and be able to go through and be like, this is what I prayed this day, or this is what I learned that day, or stuff like that.
And that's a good point too, checking your heart posture when you take good notes, right? So when we're talking about good note taking, it doesn't mean pretty handwriting, it doesn't mean your font or anything like that. It means,
or your grammar,
right? Or your grammar. And it's for you personally of, okay, well, why am I taking notes today? Well, let's see, I'm listening to the sermon, or I'm sitting in the sanctuary, right, and listening to someone preach. I'm going to write down the key takeaways. It can just be key takeaways if you want, but I would highly recommend, I think good note-taking ends up being, okay, well, this is the main topic of what we're learning today, so that I remember, but also writing questions down to go back, like you said. It's great to go back and pick up where you left off of like, okay, well, I had a question actually, and this day, like let's say fast forward a week, you learned something that really corresponded with that last question that you had. You had written down about a certain sermon, and you're like, whoa, I think I found the answer, or whatnot. You can go back and look, and I think it's really cool to do that. And like you were saying, having a different journal for prayers and, praises and stuff like that, I think it's really good to go back and like, the thing that's called count your blessings. Really great to count your blessings as well, but you're not going to have that unless it's written down or even in your notes app, because I know a lot of people in the hangar like to take notes as well, using the note app instead of, writing, but that's another form of good note taking. Some tips and tricks that we can go over is, I know specifically I use arrows. I think you do as well, right?
Yeah, I use arrows. Also, like Gigi, I underline either like a really important thing, or like I put a star, or just like anything that makes it stand out. But specifically for my alone Bible time, I have been going through the book of Isaiah, and it's kind of hard to see, but there's a fly. So how I'm kind of doing my Bible time is I'm going through the verse, writing the verse down, and then putting my thoughts after the verse. Just kind of like really breaking everything down, because that's how I kind of like read scripture. I really like to break everything down and understand why the language was used. And also checking for punctuation, and that depends on your translation, of course, but I just kind of do a deep dive into what I'm reading so I can better understand it and also just interpret it better.
Yeah. I kind of do the same thing. I like to underline, and I like to put bullet points, arrows, and just some things of like, if I'm quoting something, obviously, you put it in quotations and everything like that, but like you were saying, going verse by verse is really cool. You can put like, I actually abbreviate it into VS, meaning verse, and then I put like verse 19, and then I do like either a quick overview of verse 19 if it's like a deeper study, or just change it up and do things like that. But this one, so like you saw Henry's version, and then this one is mine. this is like everything's kind of broken down. You'll see like, parentheses and then like little like
Brackets.
There we go. It's focused now. And then this is the header, and like it'll say like Hebrews. I think that says Hebrews 12. It's really hard to read backwards, but everything just looks really different. Everything has its own thing. There's some arrows in there, like right there. And then like a really big takeaway I had is all alone at this bottom part, and it's a little bit bigger than the rest of the text. And I know a lot of people highlight and color coordinate, and that stuff is really good too to stay organized. But not everyone is, that good at note taking, or and that's completely fine. Good note taking doesn't mean looks pretty. It's whatever works for you, and in how you learn and how you're able to remember, hey, like this is what I learned and this is why it was significant. These were my key takeaways, and having those separate maybe can help. But I think both of us agree with definitely write your questions down and come back to it, because that is the correct heart posture to have when you are taking notes, is not just to write it down and leave it. You got to come back to it. It's good to come back to it and say like, okay, like did I learn anything within this past week that like really correlated with that? And if not, that's totally okay, but it's good to look back and just see. And it takes practice. Not everyone's good at it. Note taking, you use the app. I know some people use iPads and do handwritten that way. I've done it a little bit. It's not my main way of taking notes. I really do like the physical journal of it. And I think you do as well, like with the journals.
Yeah, I really like taking physical, like writing in the physical journal, but if I don't have my journal with me, then I might use the Notes app.
Yeah.
Or what I have done in the past is if I know that a sermon's going to be really good, or I just want to go back and listen to it, I'll take out my phone and actually audio record the whole entire sermon.
Yeah.
And just have it saved in my like voice memos, or like the app that uses whatever you have on your phone. And also, like Gigi was saying earlier, like note taking takes practice. I can tell you when I first started note taking about like 2 years ago, I sucked at it. I probably like would only fill up half a page.
Yeah.
And it's honestly just like the more you do it, the more you'll want to do it, and like you'll be like, oh, I'm actually doing this because I know later on I might remember something and come back to it. Or you can also learn from what you write down later on. So you'll learn to love taking notes. Just try it out, honestly.
Yeah.
It's the best thing that can come from that.
Yeah, I think a good way to prepare for note taking as well is something I've liked to do before taking notes before a sermon, or sometimes even like the pastor will pray over it, but just making sure that you have the right heart posture. So praying and asking God to show you or speak to you in some way that you're able to write good notes. And by that I mean like make sure that you're more inclined to listen to what God is trying to tell you when taking notes, and then being open to taking them and writing them down. So I think it's really cool to have that. Yeah, I think it's important to pray about your heart posture before you go in, but it's a good way to prepare yourself before taking notes, and just asking that God can speak to you through taking your notes. And it for me, I know it's probably not the same for everyone, but I actually pay a lot more attention when I'm able to write down the things that I'm learning, instead of like being distracted by something else. Like at least I'm paying attention and writing down things that actually matter, instead of getting distracted by other things in the room. So yeah, I think there's a lot of great ways to prepare for note taking. I know a lot of people have different colored pens. Like you were using a different colored pen for your thoughts or for scripture in this notebook. Like one was blue and one was black.
Oh no!
Maybe you just ran out.
I just ran out of.
But it looked great.
Switched pens.
It looked great.
You could do that.
Yeah.
I actually have thought about that before.
Yeah.
Just so it like stands out, because like in the Bible, whenever Jesus is speaking, like
it's in red.
It's in red.
Yeah.
So maybe I will do that. Maybe a good thing.
You learned something new.
Yeah, exactly.
You learned something new. But yeah, this is today's episode on good note taking. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Leave a comment for us if you want us to talk about something else. Maybe write them down. I'm just kidding. Put it in the comments too.
Or you can do
write it
either
down.
one. Good job.
Episode 1.
Episode 1.